Welcome to KIllco. My name is Brian, and guess what? We're gonna drink some whiskey. Today's bottle, Powers Irish whiskey. This one is actually 43% instead of the usual 40, which is probably one of the reasons I was drawn to it. Other than the fact that I know it is kind of legendary in the Irish whiskey world. It's up there with Jameson and Bushmills and all that. My Irish history is vague, we'll say, but the one thing I do like about Irish whiskey is the fact that it has survived. It's a survivor. With a lot of things that have happened over the course of human history, Irish whiskey almost disappeared completely, but thankfully we still get to have it in our lives. I should say that KIllco has hit 100 subscribers. And since I've hit 100 subscribers, I have no idea what to do other than to say thank you for subscribing. And I might possibly do a live stream or something to celebrate that fact. Because in the times that I'm living in right now, which is 2020, you gotta celebrate the little things. And actually that's actually not a little thing, it's pretty big. I've been doing YouTube stuff for a few years now, and actually getting to 100 subscribers is pretty neat. I know you have to get to 1,000 before you can actually start making any money on here, but that's not exactly the point in my world. Really, I just want to give myself an excuse to try a bunch of whiskeys and save these videos for me and anyone else who should care to watch. First, you got to do that with a little bit more oomph. But my nerves aren't great right now. Disclaimer for anyone who is new: I have been reviewing and tasting whiskeys for a while now. I'm not an expert by any means, and actually, I have a number of mental health issues that this year specifically have had a detrimental effect on my ability to enjoy anything. Whiskey specifically, because my sense of smell and taste have been muted somewhat just due to this massive depression I'm going through as 2020 continues its rampage, we'll say. If you're watching this after 2020, congratulations, you survived. Alright, so I have to say a disclaimer because I use an app to do whiskey stuff. I think that's one of the things that I don't know if I'm proud of it, but it's one of the things I use to help others who are trying to get into whiskey, because it's helped me. Because right now I can't really get everything I would like to. Sometimes it's either I don't know the word, or I can't quite get that hold of what it is, and that has helped me over the years. If you want to see the app, I think I have a link down there. The color of this is beautiful. It's a lovely golden color. I dig it. This is exactly what I expect from Irish whiskey. As far as color goes, the nose. Actually, it smells sweet as expected. That's giving me some fruit notes, which is not what I usually get from a Irish whiskey. I dig it. A little bit of the, that alcohol smell. I always forget the word it is, but you know there's alcohol in there when you smell it. Take my time or else I'm going to hurt myself. Yeah, the best I can get out of the smell is that it smells fragrant in a way, which I did not expect. What fruits? I don't really know. I want to say some kind of berry maybe. It's lovely. It definitely makes me want to drink it, which is nice. But I don't know if I've ever had Powers, if I'm honest. This might be the first time I've sampled it. But I don't know. I've had a number of whiskeys over the years, and I have honestly not kept track other than making these videos. And for this one, I didn't go back to see if I've ever had Powers. But I do like Irish whiskey, and I am enjoying the smell of this. It's actually reminding me, if I were to pick something as a memory of whiskey, it's reminding me kind of Redbreast Listowel. I forget exactly what that was finished in. I think it was some kind of wine barrel. But it's giving me a faint memory of that, and I haven't had that in over a year, probably 2 years. Yeah, sweet, kind of fruity, a little bit of alcohol smell. And of course, because it's Irish whiskey, I have this, thing in my head that it's got a biscuity smell or a butter cookie, something like that. That is almost a default thing in Irish whiskey. So whenever I am smelling an Irish whiskey, I'm wondering to myself, am I actually smelling it or am I just thinking about it because it's an Irish whiskey? Okay, let's get to the tasting part. And there's the burn going down. It's pleasant. And it's not too thin, and it's not abrasive. It's not something where you're like, oh, at least as long as you had Irish whiskey before, or whiskey in general before. I don't know. I feel weird whenever I talk about whiskey and I think, oh, it's not that bad, it's not too harsh. But someone who doesn't drink whiskey slowly or sipping it, I have a feeling any kind of alcohol is more of a kind of thing. Not so much for me, which I'm glad about, but it's hard to translate that. And I always say, much like Whiskey Tribe and Whiskey Vault have said, drink it like it's hot coffee or something like that, or hot soup, sipping very carefully if you're new to whiskey. If you're daring enough and you want to take a bigger sip, you can, but you might as well be taking a shot at that point, and it's gonna hurt. All right, another one. That was just my first sip. I don't like to think too much about first sip. That's a really nice texture. Surprisingly, maybe that's why it's at 42% instead of 40. It's clinging. And it's reminding me of butter, which, like that, the feeling when you have a little butter and it stays on your tongue. That's what it's doing to mine right now. Tasting it very well, as expected. Not easy because as 2020 has progressed and as my condition has been bad, I can't get nuances. I can't pick out those little things. There's a little bit of a tingle now at the end. I don't want to say peppery, but it's that kind of feeling. If you had pepper, there's a little bit of that. Does that make sense? I don't know. Again, this is really nice, but as expected, I'm having a hard time actually tasting it properly because that's how I am. And it definitely makes these whiskey reviews feel weird. And I'm like, yeah, it tastes good, I think. Tastes like whiskey. I'm digging the texture at least. But because the thing between my brain and my senses are just weird right now, it's difficult. To explain it in an easier way, mood affects the taste of whiskey. It affects the taste of all things in general. So if you're drinking a whiskey and you're in a bad mood, you're not going to really enjoy it. And it's not that I'm in a bad mood, it's that my mental health right now is shit. 2020 has been an awful year, and I am severely depressed. And depressing my head, depressing my brain, is depressing everything else. So smell, taste, feeling in general have been ugh. I'm coping as best I can. Whiskey helps as long as you're careful. Don't drink a lot of it. But it's frustrating to enjoy whiskey and want to do these videos and sip and enjoy, but having to struggle. I think that's part of the reason I've been making less videos, other than me feeling like death. But the 100 subscriber thing was definitely a point of contention where I was like, oh, people might be interested in what I have to say. Again, I just like to share the experience. I gotta say, I really like this. I can't get the specifics of the taste, but I'm enjoying it. Like I don't want to say the smoothness of it, but that's part of it. The little bit of sweetness, it's not overpowering. And of course, I have that mental image of a butter cookie of some sort, where it's just right, The taste of it is just perfect. Now we're going to go to the app, and hopefully that'll help both whoever's watching and me get through how I'm enjoying this. This is the nose, flavor, and finish. I should say the average paid price for this is about 30 bucks, give or take. Looks like it's from somewhere near Cork in Ireland. Nose profile. That's probably what I was thinking. I didn't get what it says here. The nose profile, that is the unofficial one, says apple, vanilla, honey, cereal, and orange. I can definitely make this seem like a sweet cereal. Actually, making me think of Honey Nut Cheerios now. It's got all these words in front of me. But it has apples and oranges, and I was getting more of a berry note at first. All right. The flavor, the community flavor profile, I should say. Oak, vanilla, new wood, honey, and apple. I can definitely see honey. Yeah, I definitely agree with the honey. Apple, not so much. Maybe there's a slight citrus nose, but... And wood oak, or new wood and oak, is something where I'm kind of like, that seems to be the last thing I taste. I know these are, whiskeys put in a barrel, but the oak note of an Irish compared to a bourbon, two very different things in my head. I can usually detect it in bourbons because it's sweet and woody. Irish less so. Usually it's just very sweet and subtly woody maybe. And the finish community profile is 2. Cereal and spicy. I guess the pepper spice is what I was thinking of. But that's one of the hard ones for me to figure out is the end of it, and that weird little tingle you get sometimes. The official overview, this gives me a little more info, although the ABV looks like it's wrong. It says 12 years, but there's no label, there's no number on this. It just says Irish whiskey, gold label. Distilled and bottled in bond. Oh, bottled in bond, so that's at least 2 to 4 years. I don't remember exactly which one, but good to know. I didn't know it was bottled in bond. Again, official single pot still. A single pot still release of Powers whiskey is matured in a combination of bourbon and old roaster sherry cask. Oh, that explains why I'm getting these notes of fruitiness, I think. And named after the distillery where it was first made. Now sadly closed. Boo. Color is bronze. I don't think so. If I said bronze about anything, it would be a bourbon. Official nose, barley, copper, fresh oak, leather, and juicy fruit. Well, the fruit thing is in there. I'm glad I got that at least. Very smooth. I did say that. With vanilla, dry spice, chocolate, and coffee. Well, there's dark fruit here too. Raisins and black currants. Okay. I don't think I've ever had a black currant. And that was more the nose for me than the taste. But hey, it's nice that's there. Some kind of fruit that wasn't just apple or citrus or orange or whatever it was. Official finish, more vanilla and drying copper notes. I don't know about the copper notes there, but it's really nice. I'm going to have Powers around more often. I kind of like it. It's not a redbreast by any means, but for the price, that's really what we're thinking about here. In my channel, one thing is very apparent. I don't have a lot of money. I have a lot of whiskey, but I've also had these for the past 3 or 4 years as I've slowly progressed in tasting and buying certain bottles. Being a little, let's be honest, a little dumb with some of my purchases because some of these are very expensive. But I have them and I tried them and I'm happy to own them. The problem is it's going to take me a very long time to ever finish all of these. So, yeah. One thing I do want to mention is I did make this video because next week is dry week. As of tomorrow at noon, the Whiskey Tribe is doing their dry week. I'm going to try to post the thing up here, I believe, explaining what that is. So from tomorrow until next week on Friday, I will not be having any alcohol because it's a reset, my palate kind of thing. And during 2020, you got to take a moment in time to be like, I probably should hold off on the drinking just for a little while. I will do some kind of 100 subscriber thing. It's actually gone, we kind of flew right past 100. I went to 100 to what, I think 119 or 120 already. And yeah, that was a little bonkers. Glad that happened. Specifically, I want to say thank you to the Mash and Drum. I will try to put a link to his YouTube channel up here. Last week, he hit 2 years being on YouTube and doing whiskey stuff. And he was kind enough to mention my channel and be like, hey, go subscribe. And a bunch of people did. So if you're from him, thanks. I hope I am at least half as entertaining. And welcome to the ride of a lifetime, I guess. I have plenty of other whiskeys I'm going to sample and try to, pick my way through as best I can, especially with this year. But for the next week or so, I'm not going to have any alcohol. But thank you for joining me on this wonderful whiskey adventure that we call life. Till next time, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and lunch.